Breaking news guys, Fenrir is just about to betray his brotherhood. Surtr died.
7K Dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be looking at Fenrir's arena review. So before we begin, I will just show you guys my team and talk about it first. I'm using Milia, Lubu, Fi, Tara and Fenrir. Obviously, I have replaced Miss because Fenrir is a little bit more superior than her in PvP. That said, Miss still has her value in PvE, so you can keep her for sure. So just to elaborate more about my team, why am I still using Tara? I honestly personally love her so much. And I think my Tara is pretty strong. Strong in the sense that I have given her a paralyzed accessory and she paralyzes without fail because of her innate high status effect cast rate. Okay, so that's why I still use her, and like as you can see here, without fail she will paralyze, especially if they don't have paralyzed resist. Okay, so that's why I still like to use her instead of using Surtr, even though I have already made my Surtr plus 10, but I decided that I'm gonna just use Tara because why not. As for the rest of the team, I think it's pretty standard. They're all the meta heroes. Fi, Lubu and Fenrir are basically the physical trio right now. And yeah, Fenrir is using his skill now. As you can see, the bottom skill hits pretty high, which is why we're going to talk about his skill set first. For his passive, he is able to survive on 1 HP, which is a really good passive for a unit like him because he is an offensive unit after all, and they tend to be pretty frail. Furthermore, he recovers HP per turn equal to half of his physical attack. That is quite a big amount, to be honest. I have seen some Fenrirs going from almost no HP back to half. And for the other parts of his passive, it supports the team. So he provides ally immunity to HP control effects, which means he will prevent miss HP swap and also prevent enemies from converting your HP to 1. So hint at Guild Dungeon. He also increases the lethal rate of all allies by 50%, and that is the biggest boost right now a hero has. So his passive is overall something that's pretty good. It helps him and also helps the team, so you will see him a lot in many areas, which is a good thing because I think Fenrir is quite a popular hero in the fan base. For his top skill, he deals 300% to 3 enemies, also nullifies block. That is a mechanic that has come back after the reboot, and also if you unlock his exclusive item, this skill will increase crit hit, which is the crit rate, and the lethal damage of all allies by 50% for 6 turns. So the difference with this and Mist is that Mist buffs crit damage, I think, and it's also on her awakened skill. Whereas, for Fenrir it is on a regular skill, which means you can continuously spam it and he will continuously buff the team. And that is very good, especially when it is used early, okay, so that Lubu and Milia can slay very hard right from the start. For his bottom skill, it deals 300% to 4 enemies, deals more damage depending on the enemy's defense, and also causes the target to bleed and also decreases buff duration by 1 turn. In comparison, this is the more painful skill as I mentioned. I'm not sure how this will pair with Cult's armor destruction because the two mechanics seem to counter each other, and of course having buff duration reduction is definitely a good thing in the current meta. For his awakened skill, which I barely see him use because somehow every time he has his awakened skill ready, Milia will reduce it. It just so happens to be that way, except for one time I think, in this current match maybe. But yeah, for his awakened skill it is insanely strong. It deals 400% to 4 enemies, also deals more damage depending on their defense, and has an 80% chance to paralyze the targets. It kind of deletes enemies honestly, and having paralyzed is still a good thing because not many people have that resistance, but I think after this more people will get it, and maybe then my Tara won't be so useful. But yeah, his awakened skill is very strong, which is why we will talk about his jewels later. You might want to consider using an increased awakening gauge charge speed jewel for him so that he can slay enemies very early. The next thing is his effect attack. So he is actually the first special hero, I think, that has a guaranteed effect attack on every basic attack. The effect is the same as Lubu, which means it causes bleed, but The difference is that the damage his effect attack does is going to be lesser than Lu Bu because it is a guaranteed one, unlike Lu Bu's one which deals 200% but only has a 30% chance to proc. So in that case, for his weapons, you don't need to give him speed weapons at all, you can actually focus on crit. And in my case, I'm using crit and lethal because I want to balance out those two stats so that he deals a lot more damage when hit. As you can see now, his awaken skill is ready and he's gonna use it now, so you can see how much it does. And this is only to 2 enemies, okay? It dealt almost 500,000. 500,000 to 2 enemies. Can you imagine if there was a full team here? Right? So he is a really strong powerhouse. I think his damage is pretty much on par with Miss, but sometimes I don't even see Miss hitting that much. Yeah, so I think everything just comes together with his passive and his buff skills. So it kind of makes him one of the strongest heroes right now. But then again, I do have a Berserker ring on him, and I'll explain more about the Berserker ring later. So for his armor, I've given him HP armor. You can use counter as well because I think some of the players are also using counter due to his effect attack, guaranteed effect attack, and also, you know, because it causes bleed. But I think using Lu Bu as a counter unit is also fine. For myself, I'm using Fi because she is after all immortal, so going with counter makes more sense to me. But using HP on Fenrir is also preferred because, you know, his passive already allows him to heal. So if you couple that with more healing from the HP, Myth HP armor, he's gonna heal back a lot every turn, and that is going to just sustain him continuously, because even though he may be frail, but you know, he doesn't really take that much damage unless you meet many opponents with the Berserker ring. And at this point of time where I'm at Supreme stage, yes, there are many enemies with Berserker ring, so it can get pretty difficult for him to survive. But I think below this tier, I won't foresee a problem with him surviving if you give him HP armor coupled with his passive. For his jewels, I've given him physical attack, increase the Dark Knight one, increase awakening gauge, but for the sake of the video I'm using increased skill use chance, and also reflect immunity. So the reasons why I'm using this set is because physical attack to buff his healing and to buff his damage, of course. Increased awakening gauge is really to allow him to slay faster. Sometimes a hero doesn't really need to use too many skills, and they can also get their awaken gauge up very quickly due to being hit a lot from the enemies. But of course, I want him, you know, I wanted to do this video, so I had to give him increased skill use chance. Otherwise, he really did not move at all when I was giving him increased awakening gauge. So that was a problem I faced when recording. The third jewel is reflect immunity. Reflect immunity is pretty important for him, especially facing Surtr. As you see, the damage he deals is insane, right? The Fenrir on the opponent's side actually lived that long, and it's only level 42, level 42. So yeah, he can outlive certain heroes. So back to the reflect immunity jewel. The reason why I've given him this is because you can see the damage he deals when his HP is very low, especially when you're on the Berserker ring. The more damage you can do, the greater the need for the reflect immunity, especially since you will be facing a lot of Surtrs in arena right now, and he reflects, right? So I mean, if you're facing my team, you'll be totally fine because there's no reflect, but Surtr is just basically on 90% of all teams right now. So reflect immunity is very important, especially when you have heroes with the Berserker ring. So about the Berserker ring, why I think that's the best accessory for him. Firstly, it really scales his attack. His damage output will go insane with the Berserker ring, especially if your awakening skill comes in a lot later. Secondly, you realize that the Berserker ring increases physical attack, so that means his per turn healing is going to increase as well, right? So the lower his HP, the higher his physical attack, and that means at that point his healing is gonna be at its maximum possible. And in that case, he will simply just come back to half health. I think that's the reason why most people have very lasting Fenrir. Now you may think of giving him the Guardian Ring because he is an offensive hero and he can be pretty frail. Oh my god, did you just see 500,000 from the bottom skill, right? So it's very strong, especially with him at lower HP with the Berserker Ring. So yeah, as I was saying, you can give him the Guardian Ring. The Guardian Ring also protects him, but I don't think it's as efficient as the Berserker Ring somehow, because the Guardian Ring only protects him for 3 turns, which can be reduced very quickly right now. But the Berserker Ring can prolong him, which is very interesting to see this kind of dynamic play out, because you would think that the Berserker Ring is only used for offensive power, but in this case it is actually meant for both offensive and also defensive possibilities, right? So very interesting. For the substat of the Berserker Ring, I would suggest giving him the full block Celestial Accessory. I can't remember the name, just know that it's the full block one, so that he survives for the first 7 turns at least and won't be hit too hard. And then you can also give him a CC accessory, maybe Electrify or Stun or something like that, whatever you prefer. Or you could even give him the Isabella's Vigor or Isabella's Evil Eye, or I don't think that's very trendy now, but the Isabella's Vigor is definitely something, or even the debuff removal one, because all these are pretty meta right now to help a hero, get rid of all the debuffs and heal back and all that kind of thing. So you may consider those. Even you may also want to consider Celestial Accessories that increase damage output towards certain enemy typings. For traits, I suggest giving him 3 resistances, because the amount of status effects going on in Arena right now is insane. There's Paralyze, Silence, Stun, Bleed, I don't know what else, Burn maybe as well. So 3 resistances should be good enough to protect him and let him use his skills. And yeah, basically I think that's all for his build. I would say that, in terms of power and bulk and utility, I think Fenrir is a very good unit, definitely among the top tier right now. Even if not a PvP unit, he is gonna be used in PvE a lot more often due to his passive and also the buff skill. So it will be interesting to see how this unit is being used in various PvE contexts as well. So looking at the match now, my Fenrir is still pretty much alive. Okay, Tara is not one of the bulkiest heroes for sure. No healing capability whatsoever, and I only have a 1 sub slot for NSH. So as you can see, Fenrir is gonna use his bottom skill here, deals a lot of damage, and again I told you, right, as long as he has his awaken skill ready, Milia is just there to reduce it. So unfortunately, you only got to see his awaken skill once in this video. My Milia has Berserker Ring, so that explains the damage, and honestly, right, she has saved me so many times when she revives. That is pretty much all the clutch moments I had. Milia saves the day. So here my Fenrir is gonna go if he doesn't die. So yeah, he doesn't take too much damage, and he healed back, you see, after the Milia basic attack. And just in time, his awaken skill is ready for this finale. Yes, double kill. Insane damage. Guaranteed kill, I believe. So let me know what you think of Fenrir, and if you found this video helpful, do give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I hope that the arena reviews do give you an idea of how you can gear a hero. I've been testing him for some time, so this is something that I can be more sure about. Stay tuned for more videos. Thank you so much and see you.